Hi, guys. Welcome to Daily Covfefe with Carter and Carrie. If you are listening on a podcast app or any place other than YouTube, or if you are listening on YouTube, we wanted to ask that the best way you can help us right now to grow is if you hit subscribe to us on YouTube so we have more subscribers. I think that's more important than doing anything else at the moment. Wouldn't you say, Carter?
Yes, I would say that.
I caught you taking a sip of coffee.
It's actually
Good
just tea.
morning.
I'm not much of a coffee guy. It ruins the taste of my cream and sugar.
Oh,
Um, I tried very hard in college to get addicted to coffee and it didn't work. Although I like coffee beans. I don't know.
so
I
what
have
kind
some,
of tea are you having?
it's not even good. It's some kind of English breakfast tea. I'm not using the good tea. My wife gets me really good tea. But I'm lame and using a tea bag that says black tea on it, or English breakfast black tea. So what are you going to do? Yeah. Good morning, Carrie.
Good
Uh,
morning.
so can we talk? I mean, I don't know what you want to talk about today because I like not talking about it until we start the show. But I'm really annoyed at Twitter, and not annoyed. I'm concerned about Twitter. I want to preface by saying I don't think the company should be regulated. I do think what they're doing might be cause for lawsuits for fraud because they're misrepresenting themselves. But regardless of what legal action should or shouldn't be taken against Twitter, moral condemnation is completely appropriate. And I think we should all start to be concerned. It's 2019. The 2020 election is next year. Obviously, Twitter has a horse in the game. They do not want Trump. No one that works at Twitter wants Trump, I would imagine. And not only that, uh, they're more pushed. They're more led by the social justice ideology and the far left than they are by traditional Democrats. And it's pretty clear at this point that they are, I mean, it's been clear in the past, but they're just getting more bold about what they're willing to allow and what they're willing to, and what they ban. And one of the examples I want to give is, so do you know Michael Morrison? Have you heard of, he has an Office of Mike account and he ran the AOC press parody account. Have you heard about this guy?
I barely heard about this. Give me a good refresher.
So he's got, he's normal kind of guy. He's Jewish. He thinks there's a Jewish conspiracy at this point because he had several of his Jewish friends were suspended last night. But he ran a Twitter account called Office of Mike, which is just funny and obviously political in a way that Twitter didn't like. And he had I think he had a little over 50,000 subscribers to Office of Mike. And
I
then a
think he
while,
had, yeah, almost 60.
yeah, okay. And then a while ago, he started this account that was AOC Press, and it was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's press. It was a parody account. And when he ended up having somewhere around 85,000 subscribers there. And when he started the account, Twitter said to him, "Hey, you have to make it clear it's a parody, or else you violate our terms. Here's how to do it." And he did it, and he was in complete compliance. So both in the bio and in the name or description or name or whatever, it said parody. It's a parody account. It's very clear that it was a parody account. In fact, I probably have here. Let me actually pull this up for people who are able to see it.
I saw it. It says it right in the
Yeah.
press office AOC or something. Parody, really big.
Right. So here's the account. So right there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez press release parody, and then the description says, "I'm the boss. You mad, bro? Parody." So
Is this
no,
a parody?
right? Yeah, no question. And the kind of stuff he tweeted on it, I have a few examples. So actually, here's the suspensions. What they said. So yeah, I actually haven't said what happened last night. Twitter suspended permanently both his AOC press account and his personal account, both accounts. And the reason they gave is your account has been permanently suspended for violating rules, fake accounts. You may not register or create fake account and misleading accounts. While you may use Twitter pseudonymously or as a parody, commentary, or fan account, you may not use misleading account information in order to engage in spamming, abuse, or disruptive behavior. It was labeled parody. You may also not have duplicate or substantially similar content, replies, or mentions over multiple accounts. I don't know what the hell that actually means, but they shut down both of his accounts. And you can notice at the bottom here, it says this account will not be reinstated. So Twitter is going after
Wow.
the guy. He's got, like you said, I think you said close to 60,000. I didn't realize it was that high. Close to 60,000 followers on his main account and 85,000 on AOC Parody. And just to give you an idea, here's some of the stuff that AOC Parody tweeted. Once Joe Biden announces he's running, I will fully endorse him. The other candidates just rub me the wrong way. Hold on. I have a few.
He got banned for being funny and effective. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The Notre Dame fire is a reminder to all of us the danger of climate change. Press release. We want to commend Jussie Smollett on creating 2 jobs for 2 wonderful immigrants. And this is my favorite of the ones that are popular. If socialism doesn't work, then explain to me how Bernie Sanders has become a millionaire being a socialist. So, he had some great accounts, or some great tweets, and he's banned.
Okay, yeah. So that I'm gonna interrupt just for 1 second because I want to underline your point about for no reason other than this. To me is another one that's very clear that I think everyone should start talking about. That just like the Paul Joseph Watson thing, what has he done that's violated any terms of service? Nothing. They're going after him because
even better. This is a better example to me than Paul Joseph Watson because he's not even like Paul Joseph Watson gets like in your face politically and like makes real political arguments. This guy, he's just it's memes. He's making fun of AOC in an account clearly labeled parody. It is. It pisses me off, Carrie, because Twitter is actively trying to influence politics in this country in a very obvious way. And, we have to stand up to them. And I don't know what that means exactly other than put a lot of pressure on them, jump platforms. I mean, I'm a big fan of some of these guys just all jumping platforms so we can follow them. This is Twitter manipulating the national conversation, which happens on Twitter to a large extent. I don't think we should belittle this. We can't just say, oh, well, it's social media, right? Because the mainstream media doesn't talk about it anyway, or what I guess I'm calling now the legacy media. They don't talk about this anyway because even when they're on the same side as some of these people, so even Fox, I don't think talks about this much. They might have a little bit, but they don't talk about it because Twitter is a competition, right? All these people are competition. The legacy media doesn't talk about this crap because it's competition. They don't want you following this guy. They want you tuning into Hannity or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Some crap that they're pushing. Maybe Fox talked about it. I'm just giving an example here.
Well, okay, so let me ask you a question. So last night I was watching a Mark Dice video. So Mark Dice I would put in a similar category as Paul Joseph Watson, if you accept a little bit different styles, but I put them in the similar category because they're both like in your face, and they're both conservative and they're pro-Trump, I guess. But they do some concise like news and commentary. And Dice is a little bit more comedy. Like he does some funny stuff. Like he takes Brian, what's that guy's name from CNN? Brian Stelter.
Stetzler.
He takes videos of him, and then he redoes the audio in a really high-pitched voice, but he has him redo all the same exact dialogue. So he has him now. Whenever I watch that guy on CNN, I'm like, why is he not using his real voice? Because I'm so used to hearing Mark Dice do his voice like this. So he's also like squarely in the comedy area. Anyway, I was watching him last night in a video where he was talking about this purge, and he had footage of Nadler and some other Democrats just talking about how this idea that conservatives are being purged from social media or censored in any way is complete fabrication, complete fake news. Those guys are full of crap. That made me so angry seeing that.
Oh, yeah. They're lying.
They're lying. Well, the other thing he did was he was saying, I'm getting tired of us just talking about social media bannings on social media.
Right.
So he put up the numbers for US Congress switchboard and for the White House. Now, I know that you don't want regulation, but I do think there's something to be said for calling and complaining the way that the SJWs call and complain all the time. Do you think it's worth it to give those numbers out or not? I don't
I
know.
mean, you can if you want. I actually don't think it will help that much.
Okay.
It could, but you can. I would
Seems like,
say honestly, what needs to happen is, uh, I think lawsuits need to happen. I think lawsuits over fraud need to happen because here's the argument I would make: you put up your terms of service. I invested time and energy building accounts, um, which benefited you monetarily because that's how you monetize.
right.
And then you, uh, at best case, you selectively apply your terms of service. Worst case, you were just ignoring your terms of service and blatantly suspending me or changing the terms on me. And I think you could make a case that that's fraud. I mean, Twitter also publicly talks about how they want to enable a conversation and don't worry. I mean,
They
Vijaya
talked
on
about how they want to be a First Amendment platform.
right, Vijaya on
Liars.
Rosenthal, don't worry if you're not the kind of person who's like going after people and harassing them directly and really, getting mobs after them and saying super nasty things. You don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about, people. But that is not true. The only reason Twitter is not going after people like us, frankly, or anyone, not that we're nowhere near as funny as this guy, but the only reason Twitter isn't going after other people is that we're smaller and less influential. That's it. That is it. This is all about influence.
The second you get a following, yeah.
The second you get a following and they think that it's bad, and they think it's influential enough, you're done. They come after you for some stupid thing. And in this case, they didn't even bother to explain anything other than you're not allowed to have a parody account, except for here's how you have a parody. It's they didn't even follow their own rules. Their own suspension email is contradictory, right?
Yeah.
So they just don't care. They don't
care. Well, so for anyone who does want to call, I do want to, since I mentioned it, let me just put this out there. If you want to call the U.S. Congress switchboard and they'll direct you to your congressman where you can leave a comment and let them know how much you're sick of social media censorship, targeted ideological censorship. The phone number for the Congress is 202-224-3121. And then he also gave the White House comment number where you can leave a comment for the White House about how important this is to you. 202-456-1111. Can we have that flash on the screen later?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I get to play with Final Cut. I'll flash it on the screen. Yeah.
like a call in now. So related to this,
if you act today, you get a free set of steak knives.
We'll give you a free cup of coffee. Call your congressman. I was going to say, another Mark Dice pointed out, like you said, influential people. They're just having trouble figuring out how to ban some of the influential people. So they have a sweet spot. They can go after people with huge influence in platforms like Alex Jones. Those are easy targets. But people somewhere in the, like people like Jordan Peterson, they're going to have a much harder time deplatforming him. Or people like Ben Shapiro, they're going to have a much harder time. So their sweet spot is down here, actually. Those people have huge followings. Dave Rubin, they're going after people like this guy, Officer Mike, who have like 50 or 60,000. It's not like they're in the million range. Do you know what I mean? So those are it's like, I would say like mid to high level people. If they don't have a really great public consensus that you're a terrible person, like they do with Alex Jones, then it's hard for them to take you out. So you can get big enough that it's hard. And you know who made this point to me, that you get big enough that they can't take you out? Friggin' Oliver Darcy at CNN. Oliver Darcy is the guy who led, so he's supposed to be a journalist, right? He's the guy who led the witch hunt after Alex Jones to get him taken off all the platforms. Yep. This is activists pretending to be a journalist. So when he accomplished it, he's like celebrating on Twitter, right? So he posted after this recent purge, he said, I don't need to find it because I can.
The purge with Paul Joseph Watson and those people.
Yeah, the purge this past week with Paul Joseph Watson, who does not at all deserve to be taken down. Milo Yiannopoulos, Louis Farrakhan, Alex Jones.
Milo was already banned from Twitter, but whatever.
Yeah, and Jones was already banned from those places too. Laura Loomer. But so he, after this most recent purge, he tweeted, Oliver Darcy at CNN tweeted, what is the difference between President Donald Trump's Twitter feed and InfoWars?
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay, this guy, this dolt, is making a point that he may not even realize he's making, which is in exactly what is the difference. You guys are arbitrarily going after people. You could easily apply those same rules to Trump or to anyone, you or me, whoever. What is the difference indeed? And I asked friends about this, and this liberal friend said that we got really specific because I was very curious. He agrees with the banning of Alex Jones and InfoWars. He thinks that President Trump should be banned according to the same rules, that there is no difference, that in his mind, the only difference is that Trump is too big to be banned.
Well, so actually, so Jack actually talked about this, I think, in Rogan, on Rogan, and I think what his answer was, you have to read between the lines a little bit, but I think I'm talking about Jack Dorsey, for those of you who don't know, who's the founder CEO of Twitter. He seems to be making the case that, yeah, Trump would be banned, but because he's the president, they don't feel like they can ban him and still be giving people access to the political sphere that they need to be. So like he's balancing this idea of like, yes, I would ban Trump, but he's the president, and so if we ban him, then people will be upset that like they can't have access to their politician in some way. And so he kind of gave him extra points. It's like banning immunity for being the president. But he did imply that like if Trump, like when Trump ceases to be the president,
they're totally going to ban him.
They may just ban him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what this guy was saying to me. He should be banned, but he's the president, So, well, who else is off limits then? Are all politicians off limits? This guy that you told me about yesterday, who's trying to dox little kids.
So wait, can I play his video? This guy, so yesterday, so this banning, I didn't mean to, wait, do you have another point to make, or do you?
No, I'm just saying, does it apply to all politicians? Is that why that guy is still there?
Right, so here we go. Oh, by the way, I mean, I guess that just means run for office and they can't ban you, but okay, here we go. So this guy's name,
Alex Jones for president.
Right. This guy is like this guy's one of the biggest douchebags I've ever met. His name, not met, seen. Let's see. Let's put him over here. So his name is Brian Sims. He is a representative in the Pennsylvania government from Philly.
Before I play this, can I say one thing about him too?
Sure.
Okay, this will give you an idea about how SJW this guy is. His entire feed is the most over-the-top SJW I've ever seen. But he's got a pinned tweet that says, "In your corner, are you trans, genderqueer, non-binary, or two-spirit? And feeling like you've got no one in your corner? You've got me." And goes on. Like that's his.
Yeah, I mean, he in that video, he uses the word two-spirit like seriously. Like a two-spirit? That's not a thing, buddy. But yeah, he's he's clearly, I mean, that video has been shared around the internet a little bit, just people mocking him for like trying to get a trans date or something. He's just totally douche. So I'm not going to play this whole thing, but this guy, let's give you some context here. This guy is he's outside of Planned Parenthood in Philly, and there's a small group of what look like maybe one older person and then some high school women. I'm not sure their age. And they are literally, all they're doing is standing outside of Planned Parenthood praying. Now, it doesn't matter where you stand on abortion. This is what they're doing. They have a disagreement. If you're pro-abortion, they have a disagreement with you, which is allowed. And they're standing outside on the sidewalk. They don't appear, there's no evidence that they're harassing anyone or anything. They're praying. So here's what he does.
Hi, everyone. Representative Brian Sims here, and I'm once again out in front of Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania. It's not only in my district, it's the most heavily protested Planned Parenthood, I believe, in the country. And today's protester, now, She is an old white lady who's going to try to avoid showing you her face. But the same laws, luckily, that protect her from being out here also protect me from showing you who she is. And so my hope is that you'll donate $100 for every extra hour that this woman is out here telling people what's right for their bodies. So I have a couple questions for you, ma'am. How many children have you clothed today? I'm sorry, I missed your answer. How many children have you clothed today? How about how many children have you put shoes on their feet today? Have you fed any children today, or have you just stood out in front of a Planned Parenthood shaming people for something that they have a constitutional right to do? Huh? If you're here about the children, you can pray at home for children. It's probably the same place that you can feed a child, but you're not. Instead, you're out here shaming people for something that they have a constitutional right to do.
So he
you're shaming others wrong.
So he shames this
Let's have something to somebody else is wrong. Shame out of catching up to everybody.
Maybe,
tell her
maybe
what's
there's another video.
The cops ever do for right for their body. This is how they show up in front of Parliament.
Yeah, there's another. So this is him shaming her. There's another video where he goes after this small group of teenagers. Okay, so here's the video. Here's the video of him humiliating teenagers. That was the old lady. I got them mixed up. But here's the one where he's humiliating teenagers. This is a shorter one, so we can watch the whole thing. Here we go. This is Representative Brian Sims.
Representative Brian Sims here, and I am outside the Planned Parenthood at Southeastern Pennsylvania. Oh, no, they're leaving now. What we've got here is a bunch of protesters, a bunch of pseudo-Christian protesters who've been out here shaming young girls for being here.
He calls them pseudo-Christian.
I've got $100 to anybody who will identify any of these three.
So we're
I'm going
actually
to donate to
just
Planned
praying
Parenthood.
for babies.
I'm going to donate to Planned Parenthood. So look, a bunch of white people standing out in front of a Planned Parenthood, shaming people. There's nothing Christian about what you're doing. Nothing Christian at all about what you're doing. Hi, nothing Christian or loving or godly about what you're doing. So I've got $100 to anybody who will identify. $100. See if you got some friends out here. $100. It'd be easier if you just give me your name and your address.
So this guy is yelling, "You're not being Christian and loving." and the one girl's like, "I'm not white," and the lady's like, "We're just praying. We're just praying."
Yeah, so he's a couple things here. I love the way he says at the beginning, Representative Brian Sims here. This is the new politician, okay? It's always been bad, but now it's truly atrocious. You have these people who want to be celebrities. They're just friggin' grandstanding, virtue signaling online. That's it. It's like...
Yep. At other people's expense.
At other people's expense. And, you know, this guy doesn't deserve to have a YouTube channel, much less to be representing any district. Or who does he represent? He's in Philly.
He's in Philly, so yeah, I assume he's
member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Okay, then he says bunch of white people like it's an insult, which they do. SJWs say this. This is like the day I told you. Whenever somebody says something like that, you should just respond like, "Oh, you're racist." Okay, like that. That's what that is. That's racism. Sorry.
This is exactly what Josh Denny was telling us. Remember, he got in trouble for the tweet saying like straight white male is the new N-word, and what he meant by that was like people use it derogatorily.
Yeah, they use it as an insult.
This person used it as an insult. Bunch of white people.
And then one girl's like, "I'm not white," which he ignores.
Right, and the lady's like, "We're just praying," which she ignores. Right.
That little kid, the boy at the end. That guy is more of an adult than this representative. That guy has so much composure.
That guy, Brian Sims, is a piece of shit. He is an utter piece of shit, and you should be ashamed for voting for him, no matter what your politics are. There's no way he should be in elected government. Although, if you're like me and think that most elected governments are a piece of shits, then I guess he fits in nicely. But yeah.
But he's asking. Let's make very clear what he's asking to do. He's asking people to do something that actually does go against
Twitter's rules.
Twitter's rules. He's not
just asking; he's offering money to break Twitter's rules. Yes.
So he's offering money to do something that actually goes against their rules, which is to dox these people, which is to identify these people, some of whom are teenagers, just like Kathy Griffin wanted to dox this Covington kids, online.
Yep.
She's still on Twitter. Just like on Facebook, how Antifa organized and even created a meeting event for an actual physical protest at Tucker Carlson's house, where we have video footage of Antifa yelling in a bullhorn, "We know where you sleep, you're not safe." all of these accounts are still live. And they're actually threatening and doxing people for real. Milo has never organized people to go to a journalist's house and yell through a megaphone, "We know where you sleep. You're not safe." You know, Alex Jones has never stood outside of Planned Parenthood or pick somewhere where he might stand. He's never stood out there and said, "Let's dox these people." Like, why is this guy still on Twitter?
Right. So the same day that this is going around Twitter, maybe this went around a couple of days before, but I don't think so. The same day that this is going around Twitter, Twitter is busy banning the AOC press parody account.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's going on at Twitter. And so, you know, we just need to realize Twitter is the enemy. I mean, we're on Twitter because a lot of people feel like you got to be on Twitter, and we feel like that too. But when it comes to politics, they are the enemy. And look, I'd love to just pressure them to change and give up their agenda, or I'll go to another platform. But Twitter's the enemy here.
Yeah.
And they're manipulating. They're trying to manipulate the conversation prior to the election. That's their goal, clearly.
And not just Twitter, all of social media, Facebook,
yeah.
Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, they're all trying to interfere with the 2020 election, the very thing they've all been decrying. And I love how, I mean, I don't love it. I find it so interesting how you can hide something in plain view, and you can do something more easily when you're accusing others of doing it. Does that make sense?
Well, I think they only get away with it because we're in a culture where we don't know culturally, we don't know how to stand up against it and fight back against it, right? People are afraid to look at Twitter and say, or they're afraid to look at social justice people like this Brian guy and say, "You're a bigoted piece of shit. You're a racist. You're a bigot, and you shouldn't even have friends, let alone be a representative." There's like, people are afraid to say that, or maybe don't recognize how horrible this is. And I think that's more of a reflection of our culture. If we were in a culture full of people like Michael Morrison and people like us, Twitter wouldn't do this because they wouldn't get away with it, right?
I have an idea.
What?
This guy Brian Sims is in Philly, right?
Yes.
And this is what he's spending his time doing. I would love if we had the technology. I don't think you can do this. I'd like to just take his video and splice it with the Muslim kids in Philly who are singing about chopping off heads. And he's in front of the kids like, "Who are these kids? Let's get their names."
Well, we do have the technology. We just don't have the time.
Right. That's who you should be doxing. What is happening here? I'll give you $100 if you tell me who this kid is talking about chopping off heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the same place. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's funny because we talked about that just yesterday. Same city, and this is what he finds to be most worthwhile.
Right. That's true. Same city. This is what he wants to talk about. There's some people praying outside of an abortion clinic. Yeah. All right, Carrie. So much for Tuesday.
So much for Tuesdays. Hey, I was thinking, let's do Fancy Hat Fridays. Because
all right, I don't have hats, but it'll be your Fancy Hat Friday.
Because of alliteration, and also because we're going to sleep in to the luxurious hour of 9, right?
Well, you are.
I'm
sleeping in the luxurious hour of 7, I think.
But we'll have to figure out something fancy that you do on Fridays. But it has to start with an F.
I mean, I don't know if I can go beyond my ties. They're so awesome.
Fancy Tie Friday.
Fancy tie. We'll think of something.
Yeah. I'm just trying to cheer you up because you seem really especially bummed out by today's news.
I know. I'm just angry.
I know.
I'm just angry. And I think we should be angry. There's nothing wrong with anger. In fact, anger is healthy. You should be angry. You should be outraged. And I know we live in an outraged culture, but I'm not talking about being outraged that some person said or taking something out of context. You should be outraged that Twitter is trying to manipulate the election. That's what's happening. And that's a big deal. So that's worth outrage. So save your outrage over, off-color jokes and be outraged about this.
About something real.
Yeah. Do you want to do the outro today, Carrie?
You're just a basket of puppies. You do it. I'm kidding. Guys, really,
Subscribe on
truly.
YouTube, God damn it.
Screw YouTube and screw Twitter. But please follow us there until we get off. And screw you, Facebook. But if you're not subscribed to us on Facebook, please subscribe to us on Facebook. But screw them. But subscribe to us before we do a mass exodus. Thank you, guys. And good night.
No, YouTube is honestly, YouTube is better. At least they just demonetize people, but they don't kick them off as much.
As often, yeah.
So, all right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow.